Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a review and demo on another new foundation that came out from the drugstore. It is the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation, and honestly for me I feel like the packaging kind of drew me in. Reminds me a little bit of that, is it like the Dior Forever Skin type of like packaging? Looks really luxe. The fact that it said healthy, it's supposed to hydrate, it's supposed to even out your complexion, I was just like, let me try it. Is this going to be more on the luminous side? Is this going to be something that I'm going to love for dry skin in the winter time? Especially if you can bring out that luminosity in the winter time, then it's definitely a recommended foundation from me. So I bought mine off of Ulta online. I haven't really seen it pop up in stores yet, but it should be maybe popping up at your local Walgreens, Walmart, or Target. These run for about $13 on Ulta's website. I also got these buy one get one 50% off, and I bought two because I really wasn't sure what color to get. I've never really bought a Physicians Formula foundation, and they're kind of coloring, it's like LN, MN. I went for like the neutral, so like light neutral I'm thinking, and medium neutral. So I picked up the shade light neutral 4 and then the shade medium neutral 3. I really wasn't sure, like I said, and honestly I'm still somewhere in between these two shades. I feel like the medium neutral 3 is still a little bit too tan, and then the light neutral 4 is just still too light. So I feel like if I were to pick it up again, I'd probably get maybe a medium neutral 1 or 2. Probably see from there, but today I mix, or as I've been wearing it, I've been mixing the two colors together, and we've been trying to get something pretty close, but I want to just use one color just because it's kind of cool. This is also another foundation that has like one of those applicators similar to like the Clinique one, where you can just kind of like dab on your face, which makes it a little bit mess free. But because I am in between these two foundations, I'll like, you know, swipe some back in my hand, but it takes a little bit just to kind of mix that perfect color. So if you're a fan of, you know, these type of like applicators, little sponge tip that you can just, you know, add onto your face, or maybe if you're not, just wanted to point that out if you're just like, ooh, that's not sanitary, you know how it is. So when applying this foundation, normally I always prefer applying a foundation with a beauty blender for dry skin, especially in the winter time, because there's very little moisture or anything helping me out. But because this is definitely more on the light coverage side, I feel like it might kind of like melt into the beauty blender a little bit. So what I've actually liked applying it with is, once again, my flathead stippling brush from Wet n Wild. I swear to God, if you have not picked up this Wet n Wild stippling brush, like $3, $4 max, you should pick it up, because for like these lighter coverage foundations, I definitely like using the stippling brush just to add that extra coverage, just because I feel like with the sponge I'll need a couple layers, even just to get like a nice light even out coverage. And especially if you don't have the perfect skin like I do, you have some uneven tones, some redness, blemishes you kind of want to like hide, definitely go in with a brush for some coverage. So when applying a foundation with one side of this side of my face, my right side, you'll probably see the opposite, I use the sponge and I love it. It just melts into the skin so easily, it blended out so easily. And then the other side of my face, I use a sponge just to kind of show you guys the difference. I feel like the sponge kind of like, it shears out the foundation a little bit, doesn't give it that coverage that it could have, and you know, you kind of see a little bit of redness still kind of peeking through. So I just went over that side with the brush and just kind of evened everything out, and I just love the way that the brush applies and just how well and easily the foundation it kind of blends out, as well as how it layers. You can definitely layer this. Honestly, for me, if I were just to use it with the brush, depending on, you know, if I'm trying to go for like a chill makeup day, I'll maybe do 1 layer. If like today, you know, a little bit more glam makeup, I'll probably go in with 2 just to kind of build that coverage, because I do like me some coverage. But I think 2 layers is just great. It doesn't look cakey, and I think it just sits on the skin really well. And I even like the way that it looks as the day goes on. As usual, I did set it with some Max Fix Plus, and I feel like for me it gives me a nice, like, it feels like a nice satin luminous finish, so it does not feel matte, which is great, especially because they advertise this foundation as really great for all skin types, which sometimes when they say that I'm like, okay, so how is it going to perform on dry skin, especially if like oily girls love it, and they're not saying that, you know, it's like, oh my god, it's melting off my face, it's too oily, it's too greasy. Then usually I'm like, ooh, I don't know, is this going to feel matte on my skin? skin, and it doesn't. It feels really nice, a really nice natural finish, very like a nice healthy glow. It kind of reminds me similar to the Neutrogena, I think is it the Healthy Glow foundation. I'll link the review and demo that I did on that foundation down below. I love that one as well, and I feel like maybe that's even better for dry skin, so if you want that extra luminosity, extra hydration. But I feel like this one, they're either really similar. This one I feel like even oily skin people will like it as well. If you do have oily skin, all I would say is just set it with your favorite mattifying powder, but it just looks really, really natural. I am very impressed. It is $13 in Ulta, which honestly I feel like is not too expensive for Physicians Formula, given that I feel like this brand is definitely a little bit more on the expensive side. But if you, especially like at Ulta, at Walgreens, I feel like they always have coupons or sales days for Physicians Formula where you can get it for like 40% off all products, or you wait for like a $5 off coupon or something. But it's still not as pricey as like a Revlon, like $17, $18 foundation. So for the drugstore, it's still kind of on point for like what other drugstore brand pricing is. It does only come in 12 shades, and I feel like the shade range, you know, in general, I always feel like Physicians Formula could work on their shade range much more because I feel like they don't really cater to those darker skin tones. So if you're in the light to medium, maybe tannish, you could find something. But once again, maybe I would say it'd be a little bit easier to find it in stores to kind of try to color match, because even online, I was just like, this is really light and this is really dark. So I honestly, and I feel like it just, I don't know, it wasn't as helpful online. This is one I definitely had a trickier time figuring out my foundation shade. Overall, I feel like I do love the way that it wears on my skin. The more that I wear it, the more that I really like it. Just kind of like pressing that in with the brush, and I will even go over with like a beauty blender just to kind of like airbrush that out. If you kind of want to give it like that really nice seamless effect, and I feel like, ooh, that looks really nice. So if you have dry skin, I would definitely recommend it, and it lasts me that like 8+ hours for the day, 10 hours even on my dry skin. I don't feel like it's too mattifying, so it's kind of like wearing off, it's kind of breaking off. Oily skin people, I would definitely be curious if you feel like maybe this might feel a little bit too greasy for your skin. I would definitely say normal to dry skin, check it out if you want that really nice healthy glow. It feels very lightweight, doesn't feel heavy, so if that's something you're looking for, I would definitely recommend checking out this foundation. I really like the way that this looks. I like the way this looks so much that if anything, I'm going to return these just to get my right foundation in just one bottle instead of having to mix two, and I think that'll just be really easy, quick on the go with the applicator, so that's how much I like it. So I'm gonna go to Ulta, see if they have it in stores, and just find my correct shade, because I'm somewhere in between these two. If you guys haven't tried out this foundation, this is definitely one I would recommend. I was very impressed. I think for the price, $13, the fact that they had really nice packaging, they gave you an applicator, and then the fact that the foundation was actually really great, I was very, very happy. I hope you guys enjoyed this review and demo. Make sure to check the description box for some more new drugstore releases that I did some reviews and demos on for you guys, in case you guys are curious. I know they're starting to pop up in the drugstore as well as Walmart, so you can always get these products for even cheaper. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.